Sometimes I feel like I just woke up from a bad dream because starting over in my 30s was never my plan, but I guess it was God's plan. In life, you have to learn how to go with the waves, pick up where you left off, and remember who you are and where you came from. Be willing to release the past and things that don't serve you so you can actually live the life you are destined to have. 6 months ago, I turned 30, and let's just say everything I knew about life changed. So I created a vision board to not only remind myself of who I wanted to be, but the life I knew I deserved. The road there hasn't been easy. Every morning I take my journal out and I talk to God. I make sure to remain grateful for where I'm at and the things I already have, but also reminding myself of who I desire to be. To start over is to create a new you and build the life you want. And trust me, that comes with a lot of growing, learning, unlearning, and reprogramming. The thing about living life on social media is that everyone can be so brainwashed by whatever they hear and see. That is why I tend to isolate when I'm just simply healing from things that aren't exposed. You see, life is like reading a book. However, you are the author. With every page turns comes a new chapter, so you simply can't look back. It is up to you to stay invested, create your story along the way, have faith that everything will work out for you, and don't believe everything you think because your mind can be your worst enemy. The biggest lesson I've learned so far in life is that you have to use your pain for purpose because it was the pain that created who you are today. The pain that you endured is typically what pushes you into your destiny and who you are called to be. So you have to be willing to take advantage of all the lessons that come from your darkest times. Don't allow yourself to sit in self pity because everything is already written. You have to remember that the goal is not to go backwards or even to get back to something. The goal of life is more so to use what you have to create, evolve, and do what makes you happy because you only get one life. I used to be so vulnerable and free until I realized that being perceived wasn't something I wanted to be. Being judged and ridiculed for past mistakes I made or things I didn't even do has caused me to want to hide from the world. The perfectionist in me died, and I had to accept that perfection just doesn't exist. I went from being a serial people pleaser, doing what others wanted me to do, to finally living for me and my own peace and happiness. Knowing that we don't get what we want in life, but we get who we are, has led me down this journey of self discovery. Taking the time out to actually get to know who I am has been one of the greatest gifts to myself. But just like with all gifts, it's always the thought that counts. It's a song I wrote that says, "Be careful what you dream for because it will come a day." Let's just say that day came the second I asked God for more, for new, for different, for purpose. What felt like loss and heartbreak at the time was only God clearing my path and preparing me for what I asked for. You see, God will make room for what your heart desires, but are you really ready to let go of everything you once knew? Trust me, letting go isn't just about materials. It's more about forgiving yourself enough to let go of a past version of yourself that simply doesn't align with your next level. The song also says you must find a way to your dreams, aka, you just have to do what inspires you. Nothing will make sense when God is processing and preparing you for your new season. So sometimes it can be very hard to even explain to others the season that you're currently in, especially when most people wouldn't even dare step out on faith. Releasing guilt, shame, and embarrassment has been so hard for me in this season because by my standards, I should have had it all figured out by 30. I realized that my self worth was so tied up in my accomplishments and the things I did for others. All my life, I just wanted to make those around me proud without actually understanding what made me proud of myself. I've always been so good at many things, so doing good was never the issue. It was more so my why and my purpose in doing what I felt was good. Learning that my self worth is a gift from God and that I will always be worthy no matter what I do, what I look like, or even how I act has been such a blessing in disguise. Now I know I was born worthy, more than good enough, and most importantly, chosen for the life I desire and deserve. You see, when God gives you a vision for your life, it's a promise, but it's up to you to believe, to actually receive. Letting go and moving on from hurtful situations has always been something I've struggled with. When I go through traumatic situations, it causes me more than just emotional pain. I feel things so deeply because sometimes I can be very naive to the other side of the world that's not all love and light. 3 years ago, I went through a divorce and it taught me so much about life, other people, and even myself. I learned what true forgiveness is because in life, everyone is just battling themselves, so you can't take anything personal. Within 3 years, I've lived in 6 different places because chaos and instability was something I sadly grew accustomed to. I got to the point where I was so scared of stability because, in my eyes, stability is what hurt me the most. So self sabotage became my best friend. Although I was receiving the things I wanted and even asked God for, something just felt off. Looking back now, I realized that what felt off was me. It was me not being ready to give up a past version of myself that was still in the storm. So I didn't really allow myself to fully transition into my new season. This is what caused me to mishandle the lessons I had right in front of me. This is why reprogramming my mind has become my biggest passions. I learned that I'm very fragile. I am a woman. I am sensitive. I am emotional. And I'm very intuitive. And those things are what make me me. Having introspection is something I grew to value about myself. I also learned to value parts of myself that were flawed because the perfectionist in me just wouldn't allow me to be worthy without being perfect. But the truth is, we are all perfectly made. I'm in a season of developing more self control and discipline because in the past, I would allow my feelings to run my life instead of the truth of God's word. I'm so blessed and grateful to actually have the opportunity to learn, grow, heal, and even evolve because some people just give up. Trust me, asking God for strength, wisdom, and mercy should be a daily prayer because you can't go through life trying to figure out everything on your own. Having the humility to ask for help will save you so much heartache in life. You weren't made to do it alone. You have God, you have community, and most importantly, you have you. There will be times where you have to do things alone, but even then, God will always be there. For some time, I always thought that I was being punished by God. But now I know that He's just preparing me for the things I asked for. So I couldn't be more grateful. I pray that through sharing my journey, I inspire, encourage, and motivate someone out there to go after whatever they want in life. If you're looking for a sign, let this video be your cue to just go for it. Take the leap of faith and do it. Do it scared. Do it broke. Do it sad. Do it hurt. Do it lonely. Just do it. They say faith without work is dead, and that you have to meet God halfway and actually give Him something to work with. So here's my something. Here's my story. Here's my life. I pray that through my own humility, I inspire someone to get up and just try again. Embrace your journey and accept that it's yours for a reason. Hold your head high and stay focused. Give yourself grace and remain patient throughout the process. Believe in you and your vision because God makes no mistakes. After watching this video, I hope that you leave with something to create a better life for yourself. Because never forget, you are chosen, you are loved, and most importantly, you are worthy.